Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to day 4 of our 10-day training series on teaching you how to earn your first 10K month. Now, just a bit of a recap over the past 3 days, the topics that we have already covered are nailing your niche, learning to package and price your services. And then yesterday, what we actually talked about was how to stand out as the expert. So what we're going to be focusing on today is how to attract paying clients. Now, as we're jumping on, I'm just going to jump on over to my Facebook page over here so that any comments and things like that I can see popping up. For those of you who are joining me, come in and say hello so that I know that you're there. The purpose of this training series, guys, is in response to the feedback that we've been getting from our coaching community in the My First 10K as a Beginner Coach Facebook group. People have said, Cal, we want more. How can you actually break this down for us so that we know what are the logical steps that we need to take our clients through and go through in our business so that we can consistently get to 10K per month in our coaching business. So this is all for you guys. If you haven't watched the previous 3 videos, make sure you jump on into the feed on this Facebook page and rewatch those videos because there's so much gold that's in there that we've already shared. So there are going to be concepts of it that we'll highlight today that we won't go into in detail, and I will just refer you to the other videos so that we can make the most of our time together today. Cool bananas! Who have I got with me online today? Happy Saturday. All right, let's get into it. So this concept of how to attract clients. Now, you will know by now that before jumping into the tactical strategies, I first and foremost will always go through the thinking and the mindset and the strategy overlaying the tactical strategy, because the tactical component, because the biggest mistake I see coaches facing is they get to a point where they're like, okay, I want to be a coach. Many of them haven't even gone the step to defining what their niche is and knowing what problem they solve and who they solve it for. And they go straight into, I want clients. Where do I find clients? And I'm like, well, have you done the foundational pre-work that you need to do in order for you to attract the right clients into your life and into your business? And more often than not, they haven't yet. So again, guys, you must spend the time to define what your niche is, know what problem you solve and who you solve it for. Because if you do, then the client attraction and converting paying clients, those 2 stages are so well taken care of if you do that step first. Hi, Paul. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's so great to have you guys here. All right, so let's get stuck into it. So if you think about it, guys, and you'll know the analogy I often use is a dating analogy. We're going to apply a similar metaphor, similar story to that is today as well, because what I want to do is paint the picture and then relate it back to sales, relate it back to coaching, relate it back to business. Because sometimes when you're in the business, you can't actually see strategically what's going on. So we're going to talk through it in the concept of dating. So as we've already defined in the previous videos, you know what vision it is that you have for your ideal partner. You know what you want, you know who you need to be so that you've stood out. The next part is, when it comes to client attraction, is if you know your clients so well, guys, you know what their hidden fears are, their hidden desires, what they secretly want, what they admittedly want, you will also know where they hang out on a day-to-day basis. So the first step to client attraction is, where do they hang out? Because you can be sitting at home meditating, praying to God that God will give you a client. But if you're not meeting your client where they're at, you're just not going to find them. And this is a truth that you guys must understand. And I trust that you'll appreciate this as well, is that your clients are out there dying, praying to God, waiting for you to show up. They genuinely, because if you think about it, your ideal clients are at a point where their problem is big enough, the pain is big enough that they're ready to take action. I remember when I had a toothache, I told you guys, this tooth, my brother chased me around the house when I was in year 5, and he slammed the door in my face and it cracked. So overnight, I literally had this wobbly tooth all night long. The pain was so great that we were just praying to God that there was a dentist who was available on a Sunday who could glue my tooth back together. because the pain was big enough. Similarly, I'll use another example. I'm so open with these stories. I trust that you guys are cool with this. Who have I got? I've got, hello, Lisa. Welcome back. Did you go to Hawaii, Lisa? And Nistan. Oh, Athena Bailey, are you using somebody else's account? That's so funny. Hey girl, hope you're well. I'll use another example. I went through a period of my life where I experienced emotional eating, and initially, and this played out in my life for about probably like 5 years. And I know it's really, really common, but often when you're in it, you don't label it as emotional eating. So what it looked like in real life was lots of diets, doing lots of gym challenges and programs, and trying lots of different weight loss regimes. So much so it got to a point one night where I was literally sitting at a train station on a park, like a bench at a train station. I had demolished an entire packet of corn chips after having gone out to dinner to TGI's with friends, had like 2 glasses of wine. I was full, so stuffed. And yet, in my mind, emotionally, I just felt like I needed to chow through the corn chips. So much so that I found myself sitting on the park, the train station bench, and I was just like, how the hell did this happen? Like, how did I, Cal, who loves fitness, loves health is one of my highest values, how is it that I'm here feeling so pathetic and eating this packet of corn chips, and it's midnight, and I'm so afraid to even share this with my parents when I get home? Like, I'm actually going to throw this out before I get home so no one else knows. How did I get to this point? Now, for me, at that point, the pain was so great that I was just dying for a health coach or someone who could solve my emotional eating problem. I was just dying for them to, like, if they could, call me, dial my number for me to pick up and for them to be able to solve my problem right then and there. And I actually reached out to multiple friends being like, do you know someone who solves this problem? Do you know someone who does this? Your client is exactly the same. They are dying. They're in so much pain right now. They're dying for you to reach out to them. And for them to even know about you, you need to do the work to be seen as the expert so that they can actually come to you. And trust that when you find yourself in the same location as they are, and you stand out and you actually put it out to the world that you are the expert in solving this problem, they will be so attracted to you. I guarantee you they will come up to you and they'll be like, hey, can we have a conversation because X, Y, Z. And let me give you an example of how this has played out for me in real life. So probably about 18 months ago, when my niche was completely different, and my niche was, I was a career and confidence coach, I went along to a networking event where I expected to find my ideal client. Because I was thinking, my ideal client at the time is really interested in personal development, loves going to workshops, meeting new people, wants to become a better versions of themselves. So I went along to a meetup that was similar to that. And during that workshop, one of the speakers asked us to all go around and share what we do. And I was like, well, I'm a career coach, I help women who are experiencing this, And literally at the end of that workshop, one of my now clients came up to me and was like, hey, can we have a chat? Because I'm actually looking to transition careers and I'm not sure. And she literally came up to me because she had been searching for a career coach or someone in that field for so long to help her. And when I articulated it and put it out there to the world and started promoting what it is that I do, then she could actually come find me. But if I just kept quiet, guys, she would not have engaged me at that workshop and we would not now be working together. So now we're working in business in a different niche, but this is what I mean. You gotta stand out, all right? All right, no, I want... Nastan, awesome. It's great to have you. I don't think we've met in person. Yes, Athena, you should totally be on this video right now. Nastan, you said absolutely true. When we have a service or product, there are people looking for it at the same time. Yes. And it's our job to go out there and find them so that they can connect with us. Absolutely. Which is why, guys, one of the first videos we created was how to nail your niche so you know what problem you solve, who you solve it for. And then yesterday we actually talked about how to stand out as the expert, because your people are dying to find you, but if you're not standing out, if you're not becoming noticeable, if you're not creating top of mind awareness in their mind, they're not going to come to you, okay? You're just going to be noise amongst all the other social media and all the other distractions that are happening in their world right now. And I can tell you, The Bachelor is one of those things. It's going to be, what should I have for lunch? Oh, and there are multiple lunch choices as well. Or should I call that guy back? Or should I buy a house? Oh crap, what will my parents say? Your ideal client has so many conflicting worries and distractions happening in their life. If you are not loud and clear and certain and adding value in what you do and being damn passionate, you're not going to be attractive to them. Okay, does this make sense, guys? I trust that this is landing for you. And as we go along, please share with me your key learnings or what you're taking away from this as well. So by now, you know what problem you're solving, you know who you're solving it for. The next question you must ask yourself when it comes to attracting the right clients is, where do they hang out? Now, I know this sounds so obvious, but you would be so surprised how many prospects and clients I come across where they're just something like, I don't know where they hang out. I'm like, well, if you were with your ideal client, where would you hang out? And they'd come up with a whole list of things. And it surprises me so much how many coaches don't actually then go and pursue those destinations where their clients are actually hanging out. So it's as simple as you grabbing out pen to paper and writing out 10 places where your ideal client would hang out. All right, team? So you got to figure out, where do they hang out? And then you got to meet them there because your client's not going to do the work unless you also do the work. So it could be that maybe I knew for me that when it came to, I'm so sorry. My messages are just going off. I knew for me that when my niche was finding your passion, where a lot of my clients wanted to hang out were workshops, meetups, conferences, meeting like-minded people, yoga studios, gyms, things like that. So I could have gone to those destinations, which I did. And in addition to that, I also started creating my own workshops because I was like, well, they like coming to these, so why don't I just facilitate one of these? So where they hang out could be something that you create, or it could be that a place that someone else has created that you go and meet your potential clients at. So first step, where do they actually hang out? Now, imagine you're going along to a party, right? And you're hoping to find your ideal partner there. You're like, look, I'm at a stage in my life where I would like to find my dream man. I wonder where he hangs out. Well, my mum says I should get out more, so this person's invited me to their party, so maybe I should actually go along. So you go along, thinking that, well, if I am sociable and I love hanging around people, likelihood is my ideal partner does as well. So then you go to the party, right? And there's like this room, this house full of so many people. All these women, they're all dressed glamorously. Now, I remember, I don't know which year of the Brownlow it was, but do you remember that year when Rebecca Judd wore that red dress? And do you remember did you notice, I wonder if you noticed the newspaper articles in the week to follow, how many pages she was on the front page of? So many. And that memorable red dress of hers with the diamantes at the back, it was all over the Herald Sun, all over the Age. How come? Because she stood out. So, step 2 is, how could you stand out? Because I see so many people, even when they go to like a party or something, and they just end up sitting in a corner or just sitting quietly on a couch and they don't make conversation with other people, or they're that like, they hover around other people kind of like on their shoulder and they're not noticeable. And so even if their ideal partner was there, there's no way for him to even become aware of you, your interests, what's important to you, your values, the type of person that you are, if you're completely zip. So you need to start thinking about, How can you stand out? So we're not going to go into this in detail today because we literally covered it in yesterday's video, but there are so many things like what you wear, what you say, what you share. All of those things will help you bring more certainty and passion and attractiveness to you. So you want to be that person in the red dress who stands out. You want to be Rebecca Judd, because then you become noticeable in the crowd, because there was no way that client of mine would have come up to me if I just thought in my mind, I'm a career coach. I really hope that someone here needs a career advice. And I was just mute. It was only because I put up my hand and I put it out there and said, this is what I do and this is who I help, that she knew. Then I gave her instructions to actually come towards me. Okay? Awesome, Paul. I'm glad that you're digging this. Lisa, beautiful. So guys, step 1, where do they hang out? Step 2, how can you actually stand out? So refer to yesterday's video for this. Now, the third one is, so you're going to the party, you're having great conversations, you're really connecting with people, you're being you. You're being authentically, congruently you. And as a natural part of that, your passion will come out. Because when you are you, it doesn't take a lot of energy for you to do that. And you could probably do it again and again and again, and it would feel sustainable, it would feel natural, it'd feel incredibly comfortable. Now, after you do that, have you noticed that when you go along to a party, there are so many people, right? And if you want to become impressionable on the host, what could help you to stand out? Now, from my experience, it's often been, maybe I'll bring, and my intention here is not to stand out. It's actually, how can I build great relationships and build great connection with other people so that they know that I care, because I am here for them. So usually when I go along to a dinner party, I'll bring my own fruit platter, or I'll bring a gift or something that I know will add value to the host or to the people there. So as part of step 3, it's actually, how could you gift them? Whoops. What could you actually give them to make yourself memorable and make them feel taken care of? Even just a little thing as a card. I would grab my phone right now, but we're recording this, but we live in a world right now where technology is so prevalent that we just text everything. Even if we're sitting across the room from someone, we might just text them rather than getting up, going up to them and having a conversation and thanking them or just asking them the question. So this is really taking us back a couple of years and being like, well, back then, what did people do to give people or make them feel special or make the experience really memorable for them? So I would encourage you to get really, really creative with these ideas. And the more different you are, the more you'll actually stand out in the marketplace. I guarantee you. So just to give you guys a bit of context or some examples of what we do in our business. So on a weekly basis, we'll do individual email reach outs and also personalized, social media messages. Not group messages, but personalized ones where we're actually like, hey, how is everything going? And then occasionally we've also got KPIs around phone calling people within our list, within our community every single week, so that we're touching them at multiple touch points, offering value. How can I help you? How can I help you? Because the more touch points you have, and gifting is a really great way to create a touch point, because you're actually physically giving someone something, an experience. It's a really great way to stay front and top of mind in your client's mind. All right. And then the last step is, so you've given them the present, you've hung out, you've had an incredible experience, you've left the party, you've thanked them, thank you so much for having me. Now, is it over? Is the relationship over? Or can you go further? What else could you do to keep building on that relationship? So, how could you thank them? Isn't it so nice after going to an engagement party or maybe like a 21st or something like, I know 21st, that was so long ago, but how nice was it that in the mail afterwards, maybe a couple weeks after, you get this thank you card that is handwritten that says, thank you, Cal, for I've actually got one on my wall where it's like, thank you, Cal, for for spending our most beautiful wedding night with us. We thank you for your friendship, and then a personalized photo of me and the bride and the groom in the envelope. Of course I'm going to remember it. I'm going to remember it so much so that I'm going to put it on my wall so that I think of them all the time. So that's the same with your prospect. Just because of that one encounter, the relationship is not over yet. So often, one of the biggest mistakes I see coaches making from the beginning is they find someone who's an ideal client and they have an expectation in their mind that they're going to sell to them straight away. And when they find that the client doesn't buy on the day, on the spot, straight away, they get discouraged and they don't follow up. So much of the client building relationship is, if we were to apply the dating analogy to it, comes from when you meet the person for the first time and you have all those dates. You travel together, you move in together, you meet each other's parents, you move in together, maybe you like buy a house together, you do all these things to nurture the relationship before you decide to tie the knot. Same thing with a client. This attracting them is just the beginning. Then you got to go thank them, nurture the relationship. And tomorrow what we're going to be talking about is how do you then put them through a process or a dating relationship where you actually qualify that they are the right fit for you and your business. Because as much as you want to work with them, they also need to be a good fit for your business. And there is a really great way for you to nurture and qualify them along the way so that only the people, what do they call it? The creme of the creme? No, creme of the top? Oh gosh, this is embarrassing. But just the best of the best end up working with you, because for me, that's a really high quality standard that you are holding in your business. Trust me guys, I've worked with clients where I've worked with them initially out of desperation or out of a scarcity mindset because I was like, I just need clients. But if they're not a good fit, so for example, for me, I've got a whole list of criteria now that my clients need to fulfill before I choose to work with them. And just to give you some context as some examples of what those criteria are, for me, it's like they gotta be committed, they gotta be coachable, they gotta be positive. I've worked with negative clients before and it's exhausting. So what we're gonna be covering tomorrow is how to actually attract high quality paying clients. So guys, let me just check in with you first and foremost. What are you guys taking away from this conversation so far? Hey Kerry, good morning girl. Michelle, these days it's so rare and special to actually receive something nice in the old snail mail fashion. Absolutely. So I think, ideas like sending a postcard, sending a personalized handwritten note goes so far. Lisa, I can implement these ideas right now. Awesome. And Lisa, do me a favor. Once you've implemented it and you've gotten feedback from the market, do you mind messaging me and actually sharing out my first 10K as a beginner coach Facebook group? Go in that group and actually share with us the impact of these new strategies that you're going to go away and apply, because I'd love to hear your feedback on it. They truly do work. The reason why this seems so simple, and you may be thinking, gosh, Cal, this is so logical and commonsensical. Well, let's be honest. Common sense is often not common practice, because what sets the 5% of the elite business people apart from 90% of people who fail in business is these people are consistent and actually do the work. So Lisa, please do share with me once you've implemented those strategies. Nastan, thank you for sharing this video. It's amazing. You're so welcome. Lisa, I will add the link. I'll reply afterwards and share with you the link so that we can add you into that group. Nastan, I'm really curious, hun. What is your business? What do you do? I'd love to know. You send your clients letters. Awesome. Beautiful. So guys, let's go through these 4 stages again. How to attract paying clients. Where do they hang out? Presupposing that you already know what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and then you've done the ideal client exercise of really understanding who they are. Where do they hang out? And then once you actually go meet them in that destination, how are you differentiating yourself? How are you creating, how are you enabling yourself to stand out and to become noticeable and top of mind amongst everyone else and all the noise and all the distractions that are also going on right now? Then the third one is, well, how could you, to even further embed that top of mind awareness, what could you gift them so that they've always got something tangible to remember you for? And what can you do afterwards to maintain the relationship and to thank them for the experience? Because remember, guys, all of this stuff is just the beginning of the client attraction process. So many people think that they get to here, okay, they're going to sign on. No, this is where the work begins. This is where you start dating and nurturing the relationship so that only the best clients who fit your criteria end up working with you. All right, team, so thank you so much for joining me today. Please pop in the comments below what you're taking away from this. And also, as a gift from me to you, again, I practice what I preach. I would love to offer you guys, if you haven't downloaded it already, Jay and myself, we've created a very simple, super practical, and it works, a 4-step checklist that helps you turn a stranger into a raving fan. So here, you're standing out, but you're amongst a whole community of strangers who don't really know you yet. So how do you nurture that relationship so that over time, you turn them into a raving fan, so much so that they want to buy your product and your services. And at that stage, it's the right person who's buying your program. So we have a 4-step checklist that we've created. It's got videos and literally a step-by-step 1-page checklist of, if you just answer those questions, it will teach you the resources you need to actually build a raving fan. So if you want to get your hands on that, all you need to do is type yes please in the comments below, and either Jay or myself will reach out to you and send you a link to that resource. All right, team. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. on a Sunday, where we're going to be teaching you how to attract high quality clients. I look forward to speaking to you guys then. Bye, team.